Everybody, welcome back. It's getting bloody warm in here, I've got to say. I almost filmed this outside today, and I would have done if had some knobhead down the road hadn't got like an industrial sounding compressor going. Couldn't hear yourself think outside. So I'm going to attempt to do it here and try not to sweat to death. It's no longer a game room, it's a game sauna. However, pickups, as you can as you've imagined, and got quite a lot to get through here, so I'm not going to dwell on anything really for too long. I'm trying to catch up with pickups because I got way behind with them, so I'm just trying to, you know, work through it as quickly as I can here really, just to catch up with myself really. First things I want to say though is recently I've had a couple of machines repaired by Mrs. Bear, Retro Repair Bear. So I just wanted to give her a quick shout out, as a few other people have done. If you need any retro tech repairing or modifying or, you know, upgrading, you know, she's the person to contact. Do loads of different stuff, and she's also doing Bluetooth boom boxes. I'll show the flyer as other people have done, but it is retrorepairbear.co.uk, as you can see at the bottom there. Like I say, get in touch if you need anything repairing, modifying, updating, you know, or even future proofing, and you can arrange to have your tech looked at by Mrs. Bear. And the drop-off point is at Hidden Chest Gaming in Broyley Hill. But yeah, I've had both my Amiga and my Spectrum looked at. My Spectrum, it was working, but I'd got a problem with the tape connection, and it turns out the sockets had sort of worn loose and deteriorated over the 40 years nearly. So she changed them for me, fully recapped. Got to say, she did a beautiful job of cleaning the actual casing on the Spectrum, because it was a bit grubby over time, to be honest, and now it's looking like absolutely brand new. I will put a picture up if I can remember. Same with the Amiga, that was faulty, unfortunately. That packed up just as I sold my CD32, because I thought I don't need both, so I'll just keep the Amiga, and then sod's law, a week later after I've sold the CD32, the Amiga broke. But now fully working, back to normal. Really chuffed to have them both back in tip-top order. Both been recapped and, you know, everything looked at, checked over. Brilliant. That leads me on to the first pickups. Because as I said, I'd sold my CD32, and there were a handful of games I'd got on that I hadn't got on the Amiga. So once I'd sold it, I thought, right, I'll buy them for the Amiga. Then it broke, obviously, and that plan went to shit. However, we're now back on track. So I've managed to pick up the games I wanted to, that I'd got on the CD32, which I hadn't got on the Amiga. So this is a quick rundown of what I've bought on the Amiga since I've had it repaired, to replace what I'd sold previously in order to buy my AES console, if you've been watching for that long and paying attention. However, now this, I've got to say, these few games here are just for David. So the first one I've picked up is Treasure Island Dizzy. Possibly, well, it's one of my favourite 2 games on the Amiga, if I'm honest. Absolutely stunning, brilliant game. David, you're wrong. I'm sorry, you are wrong. Treasure Island Dizzy. Then of course it didn't stop there, because I've also picked up Spellbound Dizzy. I love these Codemasters boxes. And I mean, all the Dizzy games are a variation on the same thing really, just a different sort of topic and puzzles. So yeah, we've got Spellbound Dizzy. It doesn't stop there, David. We've got Dizzy Panic. Now this is not actually a traditional Dizzy platform adventure game, this is a puzzle game. But really not too bad actually. That's Dizzy Panic. Calm down, there's more, David. We've got Dizzy, Prince of the Yoke Folk. And finally, we've got Magic Land Dizzy. And the reason I've bought all these Dizzy games is I'd got the Dizzy 6-pack on the CD32, which obviously, once I sold that, I lost all them. So hence I've bought all the standalone Amiga games. I'm sure that was a treat for you, Dave. I know how much you enjoyed. Right, now the last thing I've got for the Amiga, this was a kind gift from the Retro Bear when I went to collect my, I think it was a Spectrum actually, not the Amiga, but anyway, Retro Bear kindly gifted me a copy of Jeff Crammond's Grand Prix, which I'm sure I had as a pack-in with my original Amiga, and I've not played it since. Not unfortunately played this yet because I loaded it up and then found out you needed a mouse, and I hadn't got my Amiga mouse close to hand, and I haven't found it out yet, so unfortunately I haven't been able to try this, but I'm looking forward to see how that's aged after like 30 years since I last played it. It'll be quite interesting. At the time this was like a revolutionary, groundbreaking like F1 simulation, so it'll be quite interesting to see what that's like now. So cheers Russ, thanks very much. I'll try and put a link in the description to Retro Repair Bear's website, and I'll put a link into the Retro Bear. If you're watching me, you know who Russ is, obviously. Same for Hidden Chest, I'll put a link in the description to that as well if you need to drop off stuff for Mrs. Bear, or just check out Dana's amazing shop. Right, on to the actual pickups. Well, I suppose we've already started, but these are the main pickups. We've got a mixed bag, we've got quite a lot of different stuff. I'll try and put footage up of some of them, not all of them because I haven't had time, and it's too hot in here to film stuff, to be honest. I'm absolutely sweating now. Have a drink. Right, we'll start off with Super Nintendo, or Super Famicom more to the point. Don't buy many of these now, to be fair. I just stumbled across this. This was off retrogames.co.uk, and I picked up Super Drift Out. Now this is by Visco, and this is kind of a precursor to Drift Out on the Neo Geo. It's like an earlier, more simplified version, and it passed me by back in the day, and I'd not heard of this until I just stumbled across it by random chance. It's really not too bad at all, actually. Really quite a good game. I don't buy Nintendo cardboard. You know, my wallet doesn't stretch to that. More than happy with cart only on Famicom, Super Famicom, sorry. Well, any Nintendo really. Cardboard, I'd go cart only. But yeah, anyway, Super Drift Out. Quite a fun little overhead rally game. Next up, we'll do Switch. I said there was lots of different stuff. So I picked up Aces of the Luftwaffe. Now this is like a vertical shooter, but it's kind of story based in a way, and more mission based than your traditional shooter. It's only cheap, and I can understand why. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not rubbish. It's adequate, and it's worth the 10 quid or whatever it sells for, but there's nothing particularly special about it that I've played. I haven't played a great deal of it, to be fair. It is just quite a basic story-driven shooter from what I've seen. It's okay. If you like shooters, I think for a tenner it's probably worth investigating. Now this next one, we've got them fighting herds. Now I've got to thank Champion 2D Rob for this one, because he put me onto this. And it's basically, I think if I got this right, it started out as a My Little Pony one-on-one beat 'em up, and then they couldn't get the license or something, so then they developed this. It's a real wacky one-on-one fighter where you are controlling, like, well, you call them ponies, but they're kind of weird animals, and there's some dragon type things as well. Really quite a fun game. Again, this is cheap, or it was when I bought it. I think it was about 15 quid. Again, I think that's really quite good for the money. I'd say that's an excellent purchase if you like your fighters. It's not the best fighting game in the world, but it's damn good fun for the money, and I'd definitely recommend that one. So again, cheers Rob, and again I'll put a link in the description to Rob's channel. Go check him out if you haven't. Great channel. Right then, the last Switch game I've got to show is Sol Cresta. This is a Japanese Switch game, a super deluxe version, as you can see, in a nice little cardboard sleeve. This is really good. It's kind of an evolution of the Terra Cresta series, I suppose, where you can pick up. You've got different attributes to your ship, and you can switch the colours of your ship, and whatever's at the top of your ship determines on how your what your firepower is like. It might be a spread shot, it might be more of a laser, you get what I mean. And whatever colour order your ship's in determines how you fire. Really, really good. I need to play more of this. Cracking game. Really recommend. If you like your shooters, I'd definitely pick that up. I don't know if it's out anywhere else but Japan. I don't know if you can get it Play Asia, I don't know. Anyway, I got it Amazon Japan anyway. Great game. Thoroughly recommend that one. Right, we'll do, what should we do next? We'll do Saturn next. I haven't bought any Saturn for a while now, really. I've had these lying around for quite a bit now before I've got round to showing them. And the first one we've got is Fatal Fury 3. Now, if you've been paying attention, you know how much I like Fatal Fury. Unfortunately, I haven't got this on the AES yet. That's one of the last AES games I would like to get. However, in the meantime, I can make do with the Saturn version. Fantastic game, and it's a good version on the Saturn. The one and only Terry Bogard on the front cover. So, absolutely chuffed to get that until I can get the Neo Geo version. Got it on CD, but I'd like the AES cartridge. Right, the next one we've got, now what's this called? Goikun Muyu. That's how you pronounce it. Now I've got to thank my good friend James at Game Zone Bird Room for putting me onto this, because he showed me this in a picture, and I just asked him, what's that? And then he told me. I thought, bloody hell, that sounds good, I need to get that. So I did, and it's basically a 3D one-on-one fighter, very similar to Virtua Fighter 2, because I think a lot of the team that worked on Virtua Fighter 2 worked on this, if I've remembered my facts correctly. My brain's not what it used to be. Nice one with the spine cut actually, this one. But yeah, it's a really good 3D fighter, plays very similar to Virtua Fighter, looks pretty good. It's not as good as Virtua Fighter, but to be honest, it's really not bad at all, and it's not that much. I think around 20 quid this from memory. I've put some footage up of that, I think, hopefully. But yeah, Goikun Muyu. It's a terrible name to pronounce. Sound like Big Game Al. Goikun Muyu, we'll go with. No idea if that's right. Right, then the last Saturn game I've got to show today. This is a classic, and we've got Gunbird. Classic Psycho shooter, vertical, which are my favourite type of shooters, if I'm honest. No spine card with this one. But yeah, it's a great, cracking game. Really like it. So, not much to say about that one other than it's a great game. If you've got a Saturn, buy Gunbird. I will have put some footage up, obviously. Right, now, what should we do next? I think we'll go PS4 next. Keeping you on your toes today, switching from one thing to another. Now this one, I've got to thank Eddie for. because I think it was after I did my PS4 collection video, he said, have you got this? And I hadn't. And I thought, well, I'm going to get that. Then I forgot about it again, and then he sent a message saying, have you picked this up yet? Because it's now cheap in CEX. So I was thankful of the reminder, because then it was, yes, I'll buy it. And it's DNF Dual on the PS4, which is a one-on-one fighter by the same team, Arc System Works, who do like Guilty Gear, Under Night, BlazBlue, all them. Another phenomenal game. This is, absolutely love it. It blew me away when I tried this the other day. Like I say, it's 10 quid in CEX. It's a must buy in my opinion. Stunning game, looks amazing, graphics just fantastic. Plays really well. Unfortunately, I couldn't beat the last character. He is balls hard. He absolutely battered me. So I'm sure there's a trick to it. I'm no fighting game expert, but nevertheless, this is a beltingly good game. DNF Dual. So cheers Eddie for the reminder. Much appreciated. Again, I'll put a link to Eddie's channel if I can remember. Right, then the last PS4 game we've got to show is one I've had before and sold, and then I just stumbled across this in CEX because I'll look out for any steelbooks, and I managed to find Marvel vs Capcom Infinite in a lovely steelbook version, so I had to buy it. As you can see, it's a lovely steelbook. The details coming across on the camera, but yeah, beautiful thing, and it's nice and complete. Got my CEX receipt in there. 12 quid that cost me. So chuffed to bits with that. I've not actually installed that again since I've rebought it, so I won't have put any footage up of that. From memory, it's quite a big install, as I remember. I think that's why I got rid of it the last time, because it was before I bought an external hard drive, and I needed space, so I deleted it and sold it. Anyway, lovely steelbook, Marvel vs Capcom Infinite. Right, I think next up we'll go PS1. We've only got one of these, and now this, again, if you've been paying attention, you'll know I love this game, and I forget who it was who mentioned this to me. It was way back, ages ago. It might have been Dylan, possibly. Anyway, I've got Geckio on the Japanese PS1, and for those of you who don't know, this is the PS1 version of Shenryu, which is my favourite shooter on the Saturn, and possibly my favourite shooter full stop. But yeah, this is the PlayStation version. You can get it PAL, but it's very expensive. It's a really good version of the game, to be honest. It's not as good as the Saturn, in my opinion, but it's a really good version of Shenryu. If you haven't got a Saturn, I'd say that's a must buy. Well, not at PAL prices, to be fair. But it's also got like a secondary game called Xeno, which is like a pocket station version of a shooter. Very basic. I'll put some footage up hopefully. Like I say, it's a very basic thing, but I think it works quite well actually. I really quite like it. This Xeno on the pocket station emulation type thing within the game. Really quite good. Very basic, like I say, but it's a good shooter. Unfortunately, all the text in this is in Japanese, so all the menus are in Japanese. There's also something listed on here called Fury, which I've not tried that. I don't know if that's the second game on there, third game on there, sorry. I might have missed that. Anyway, that's Geckio on the PS1. Just if you haven't played Shenryu and you like shooters, honestly, play it. It's awesome. And if you like Tatsujin, play it because it's very similar. Right. Next up, we've got a PS2 game, and we've got Saga Classics Collection. Now this, for the eagle-eyed amongst you, is the American version. And yes, it's available PAL and it's dirt cheap, or used to be anyway. However, the reason I bought this is because there's an extra game on this one to the PAL version. It's also got Alien Syndrome in addition to all the games that are on the PAL disc. And I've got an American PS3, so I was just looking for a couple of American PS2 games just to try on it really. Again, this was ages ago. I picked this up from Hidden Chest actually. But yeah, anyway, the extra game on it, Alien Syndrome. If you don't know, all these games are like polygon modernised versions of Saga classics with varying degrees of success. I wish I'd got the entire collection of the original Japanese PS2 Saga 2500 series, which all these games are part of, but singular, like standalone games. I've got some, but you know, I wish I'd bought the full set way back. However, there are some good games on here. Outrun, although it's not Outrun, it's not a bad game really. Virtua Racing, again, it's not Virtua Racing, but if you take them as sort of standalone games, they're not bad really. Golden Axe, Fantasy Zone, Bonanza Brothers, Monaco GP, Alien Syndrome, Columns, you get the picture. But yeah, Alien Syndrome's alright really, to be honest. That's one of the better versions, I'd say. It's reasonable. I will have put some footage up, all being well. Right, PS3 next. I've wanted this one for quite some time, but it's not one you see in Britain very often. They're nearly always in Japan. However, I eventually tracked one down, and we've got Wangan Midnight, which is basically Tokyo Highway Challenge on the PS3. Japanese street racing, sort of you against an opponent within a set distance around like Tokyo or wherever. Lovely graphics on this being on the PS3. Really quite a nice game. And I think this, I'm just trying to think now, yeah, because I'd already bought Initial D. So this was the other one I needed. I'm absolutely chuffed to get it. Like I say, it's not particularly easy to get, unfortunately, and it didn't come out in Europe or America. I don't think. I think it's a Japanese exclusive. But yeah, if you like that kind of Japanese street racing type game, that's a really good game, and it'll play on any PS3, obviously. Right. Next up, Mega Drive. Now, since I've been sort of going crazy on shooters, I've worked my way back to the Mega Drive, and I thinned my Mega Drive collection out quite a lot. I don't know, maybe 12 months ago, and I got rid of the chaff basically, and I just kept the stuff I was really passionate about. You know, the good stuff that I want to play again at some point, hopefully. However, my shooter collection on the Mega Drive was quite small, because predominantly my Mega Drive collection is from, you know, donkey's years ago, before I got into shooters. So the focus of my sort of pickups or purchases at the moment are predominantly Mega Drive, because I'm loving the Mega Drive shooter library. It's got some absolute belters. I think, to be honest, I'm liking the Mega Drive most of all for shooters at the moment. I'm certainly going, you know, all in on the Mega Drive at the moment. Anyway, I've got a couple here to show. Going forward, there will be more Mega Drive pickups coming, because that's what I'm really focusing on at the moment. I mean, there will be other stuff, but there'll be quite a bit of Mega Drive. However, I bought this Gain Ground. Now, I remember seeing this back in the day and thinking, that looks shit, I'm not even going to try it. And I never did. And I just happened to try it on the EverDrive a few weeks ago, and I thought, bloody hell, this is quite good, you know. So, you know, if I'd have looked past the sort of plain looking graphics on the box back in the day, I might have experienced this 30 years ago and now think it was a phenomenal game. But I liked it enough to buy it, as you can see. It's a really, really good game. I mean, you could call it a shooter, I think, but it's a slow-paced, sort of floor-based shooter, mixed perhaps with something like Gauntlet, where you've got a team of 3 guys, and you pick which character you want, and then you've got to clear the level basically without losing your 3 men. And then, because when you lose one, you know, you start with another one. But you've got to, like I say, you've got to clear the screen of enemies and sort of get to the exit, much like in Gauntlet. But it's kind of tactical because they've got different weapon abilities, and different weapons will help you take out certain enemies within the level. It's like a single screen. Really, really good. I really wished I'd played this back in the day. Honestly, cracking game, gained ground. And then the second Mega Drive game I've got to show today, again, this is one I never played back in the day. And I think I saw this on a video and then tried it on the EverDrive and thought, yes, I need to buy that. So we've got Forgotten Worlds. Now this is a Capcom horizontal shooter. Now I think the PC Engine version is regarded as the better version, so I would like to get that at some point. But again, this is really, really good. I can't help wondering why they didn't put this on the SNES, because it would have been so much better with the 4 fire buttons like Smash TV, because you can control what direction your shot goes in at the same time as moving your character around the screen. So with the Mega Drive controller, you've just got a button for rotate, and the longer you hold it, the more he turns. It would have been far better with the SNES controller, and you'd have been able to control your shot direction via the 4 buttons like on Smash TV. However, that said, it's still a cracking game, and it's lovely box artwork as well, I think. So that's Forgotten Worlds on the Japanese Mega Drive. Right, we're nearly there, 2 to go. Try and get it done before half an hour's up. The elephant in the room, we've had Battle Garaga on the Tarte screen, which is on the Saturn. Awesome game, but balls hard. And we've got Fortress of Narod on the Vectrex. But on this one we've had Xeno Crisis on the Neo Geo CD. Been running all through the episode. Yeah, I picked this up, it's been a few months now. I finally got round to showing it. It's a brand new game from Bitmap, obviously. But thought it was kind of cool to get it on the Neo Geo CD. Comes with a spine card. Talking like Smash TV, it's basically a modern Smash TV. I'm sure you've all played Xeno Crisis. It's a fabulous game. It's not easy, but it's an awesome game. It's ported on everything. You know, you can even get it on the Evercade, Mega Drive. You know, whatever way you can play it, emulation. I'm sure you've played it, but I just thought it was nice to get it on the Neo CD. And then finally, Neo Geo AES. This is the last AES game I've bought that I haven't shown. And there are a couple, 2 or 3 more I would ideally like, but I've not been looking recently, purely from a cost point of view. I can't afford any more at the moment. But I saw this one quite cheap and I thought, yes, gotta have it. It's one I had back in the day, and it's Art of Fighting, the original. It's in lovely condition. As you can see, we've got the cards. Oh, we've got no manual actually, unfortunately. But just for you, Stu. Yeah, so we've got, like I say, Art of Fighting 1. Now the graphics on this were absolutely jaw-dropping back in the day. You know, the characters were enormous. You got mega zooming in and out. It looks sensational. I mean, it obviously doesn't look as good as it once did, but it's still a decent game. I think, to be honest, I'm not mad about Art of Fighting, really, but I think I'd prefer to play this over the 2 sequels, probably, purely for the nostalgia, I think, really. But like I say, I saw it cheap, and I've got nostalgia for it because I had it before. I seem to remember having a cardboard box version. Possibly. Unless it was the American version. I didn't have this version. I didn't have the Japanese version anyway. And that's it. We've got to the end. Just cracked the 30-minute barrier. So yeah, let me know what you think. Bit of an assortment there of all different types of stuff. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there before I melt. And let me know your thoughts. Like I say, thanks for watching. Thanks to any new subscribers. Nice to hear from you. And until next time, I hope the sun doesn't melt us all in the meantime. But sayonara.